What's up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 15 of the Eyes Wide Open podcast. I'm your host, Kiah. We're about to get into moon cycles today, and I am so pumped up to talk to you about it. Everybody and their mama asked me about moon cycles and how I manifest and how I release, and I got all that information coming at you guys right about now. So stay tuned and cheers. Let's see. Is it good? Oh, it's kind of good. The wine is kind of good with the little strawberries in it. So anyway, it's on the way right now. Ba-ding. Okay, guys, so yet again, welcome back to episode 15 of the Eyes Wide Open podcast. Again, you know me, I'm your girl, Kiah. Let's get on into moon cycles. Actually, let's do social media. I always skip over that, right? I'd be so anxious to get into topic that I just like, oh, well, forget about the social media. That's important, and so you guys can follow along. But my personal social medias is going to be at Von Kiah M on Twitter and at Von Kiah on Instagram. I do have a Facebook, but to be honest, I don't really share that. I don't get on Facebook all the time. But if you're curious, my Facebook is Kiah Mims, M-I-M-S, like the rapper This Is Why I'm Hot, Mims. And if you would like to follow the podcast page, that is at Eyes Wide Open Pod on Instagram, and then there is a Facebook page called Eyes Wide Open Podcast for you to follow as well. Just don't get weird and stalkery on my Facebook, because that's more of my family, so I don't do that. Okay, shout out, I'm just kidding. Really enjoying this wine. I threw a little strawberries in there this time to give me some flavor, some yummy flavor. But let's get into these moon cycles. So a lot of people reach out to me and they're curious about like what goes on during the moon cycles and like what happens. And truth be told, I just have my beliefs and I know what I do and what works for me. So I'm going to be sharing some of that with you. It's totally up to your discretion if you take this information as truth or if you want to try it or whatever. Do your own research. I always encourage that if you're curious about like where I'm getting some of my information or knowledge, or if you just doubt how I do this in general, that's okay. We all different. We all, guys, on the top. We're all different. You guys don't have to subscribe to nothing that I'm saying, but you do subscribe to this channel. Hit the subscription down below, or if you're listening on any of the sides, hit subscribe so you can make sure that you get a notification every time my new episodes come out. Every Wednesday on Anchor and Apple and Spotify. And of course, the lovely YouTube. I'm in a really good mood, you guys. I'm in a really good mood today. Mercury retrograde just ended yesterday. Boom, boom. But we're in the shadow period. So should be a little awkward with communication with me. So just forgive me. Okay. So regarding moon cycles, let me drop some science facts first. So a lot of people may know that the moon has like an interesting gravitational pull over the ocean tides. That is like scientific factual information, okay? Our bodies are made of roughly 60% water, with our brain and hearts being about 73% water. And then when you go into the lungs, that's about 83% water. So my impact, or how I view this, what I subscribe to, is that the moon plays a big role in our bodies as well, because we're made up of water too, and we're constantly moving and on the go, and so much of us is made up of water, that the moon's gonna have a little bit of an impact on us to a degree. Now, whether you decide to take that as truth, that's on you. You totally don't have to. The part about us being 60% water roughly, yeah, that's pretty true. That's pretty factual, but the moon having some sort of impact on your body, you may or may not believe that. But it does have an impact on the ocean tides, and how that is the gravitational pull of the moon and the sun makes the water in the oceans bulge. And this causes like a continual change between high tide and low tide. That makes sense. I tried my best to be prepared for this video so that I could bring you guys all the facts, you know what I'm saying? So I got I'm gonna tell you, I got notes. Don't worry. Don't worry. The notes are there. Let's get into cycles. So there are new moons and full moons and waxing crescent moons and like so many different moon cycles, but the two that I'm talking about are new moons and full moons specifically, and I'm relating them to astrology as well. So rock with me here, okay? Rock with me. So new moon is when you have the sun and the moon and they're aligned. So the sun and the earth are on opposite sides of the moon. So you have the moon in the middle, essentially, on a new moon. So think like for astrology, this astrology sign in the sky is Cancer, and the moon sign is also in Cancer, okay? We had that on the 20th or 21st of June during Cancer season. So think astrological for a second, not like month to month basis, like June to July. Don't think about like that. Think about astrological seasons, okay? Now, full moon is when the moon appears fully illuminated. So you will have it be like sun, earth, moon. So the sun and the earth are on one side and the moon is completely on the other, so that the sun or that the earth has a full view of the full moon, right? I have little diagrams. See? So in astrology, that would create the opposition, okay? For instance, we just had a full moon on the 5th of July in the sign of Capricorn, which is the opposite sign of Cancer. We're in Cancer season, so the moon sign was in Capricorn. Does that make sense to you guys? See how this is all working out? And if you guys don't know about moon signs and what that means, reach out to me. I would be so happy to help you out. I offer some services. They're on my Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter page. All my services that I offer, I can help you figure out your big three in your birth chart, your sun sign, your moon sign, and your ascendant/rising sign. Be more than happy to go over it with you. $5. Simple as pie. You can cash at me, Von Kiah. But in astrology, that is what creates an opposition. So, for instance, my sun is in Aries and my moon is in Libra. So they are opposite signs of one another. So it's born under a full moon. And a lot of times you guys might hear stuff like, the crazies come out during the full moon. Probably. We're a little crazy, we're a little weird. That's okay though. But when it comes to manifesting and releasing, my understanding and how I choose to utilize this is I manifest under new moons because it's what I want to come into me. It's what I want to welcome in. It's what I would like to be receptive to in that energy. When I talk about full moons is when I release things that I don't want, that no longer serve me, that ain't working, okay? During full moons is when I sit down and I will write down the things that I want to let go of. So that could be people, it could be old habits, it could be like ways of thinking that just haven't served me and haven't worked for me and haven't helped me become who I need to be at my own opinionated best self, okay? When I'm talking about new moon cycles is when I think about like, okay, what didn't serve me during the full moon? What did I release? And now what would I like to welcome back into my life? So in between the time frame of the last full moon, which we had on July 5th, and we have a new moon coming up on the 20th of July, sorry. And it's also in Cancer again. So there was 2 new moons in Cancer season, which is like really dope. And I must have known I needed it this year because I have a lot of things with regards to Cancerian energy that I did have to work on and pull in. And so it's been like really dope for me to be able to welcome things in on double spectrum. So I'm probably going to review the things that I brought in during my first Cancer new moon, look at what I released during my full moon in Capricorn, and then see what I need to welcome back in this new full moon or new moon, okay? If I'm not mistaken, let me double check. I don't want to lie to you guys. Not lie. Misinform. I believe the next full moon in August is in Aquarius. It is on August 3rd. It's in the sign of Aquarius. So after the new moon on the 21st, you will go through some effects and you will be able to manifest what you do want. You bring that in, you work on it, you do what you need to do, and then when the time comes around the 3rd of August, you'll be able to reassess, reevaluate, and then release what isn't working for you. Okay? I enjoy doing this because it's always like a constant self-check, like a 2 time a month check for me to look at myself and see like what's not working for you versus what is working for you. What, habits have I been doing that serve me? What habits have I not been doing that don't serve me? So if you subscribe to this, totally let me know how new moons and full moons are working for you. And if you've never done this before, reach out to me. I have a lot of different practices and ways that I do things underneath the full moon and underneath the new moon. I actually make sure that I schedule them out, and I have certain like rituals that I do and like personal practices that I do in order to make sure that I'm constantly on track with that. I come home and I meditate very heavily. I light candles. I prepare myself very much so. I actually keep documents of every full moon and new moon cycle that I go through so I can go back and look at them later and assess where I'm at. So I try to keep myself grounded in that energy and, consistently check on myself. You know what I mean? And this really helps me on a spiritual basis because a lot of things that I let go of can be like, say for instance, one month you had like not the best spending habits. It's like for me, I don't mind like releasing that and then like welcoming in better spending habits or better help or knowledge. You know what I mean? And say another month you had it, like you've really been wanting to welcome in like better study practices, say you're in school. And it's like that's going to be a really great time to like welcome that in and study that. It's like a very intentional manifestation, prayer, whatever you would like to call this. But I manifest by writing things down. I speak it out loud. I meditate on it. And I do it in my backyard. Like a little nerd, but I mean, my dad knows what I do. My family kind of sees me out there doing my thing, and they just are like, all right, she's just doing her little moon rituals. So if you're curious, I know that online there is, let me get in this sunlight. Oh, it's so pretty. Here, let me come over here because the sunlight's way better. Yes. Hello, beautiful people. This is way better, right? So, you'll get a lot of beautiful energy working on yourself under moon cycles. I feel like if you don't have any type of practice to keep yourself in check every month, that the moon cycles are really amazing because it's just like twice a month and you sit down, you reassess where you're at. A lot of people don't assess themselves at all. So I like being able to do it 2 times a month under the moon. And I like that I have a yoga almanac, shout out to my brother. And it's like each week has a detailed lesson in it for you to read, and it gives you a yoga sign to keep yourself grounded and work on different chakras, and it's really, really amazing. But my brother gave that to me, and ever since I've been using that, I read a lesson, and then whenever it's time for my new moon or full moon cycle, I take that week to really like hone in on that lesson in particular. And then I have like meditation mudras that I couple in with it. So I do several different things to just make it like a really nice enhanced situation for me, ritual ceremony for me. And I make sure that I document it so that I can constantly go back and review myself. Because I think it's really important for us to keep track of ourselves and keep track of how we are being as individuals. There's a startup in a car, sorry guys. But I really think it's important and key for us to make sure that we're checking in on ourselves every month. And I know that for me, I do that by doing my moon rituals and moon cycle manifestations and releases, because it keeps me balanced in like, this energy was working for me, well, this energy didn't work for me, or I thought I was going to be able to, I thought that welcoming this in would help this, but it hasn't. So how do I release and work on something different? You know what I mean? And sometimes it's like over time. Like I say, if I did some manifesting like in April and I'm reassessing it right now, it's sometimes now shows me a really great time to let that go, or I might have been going like too hard in that area. So it's just like a really dope self-check. It really keeps you in the balance of what you're doing. And if you don't know, in astrology, the moon represents your emotions within. So, you know, that watery murkiness about us. So just to keep yourself in balance, a lot of things that we do, we are emotional beings. And so I like that the moon can help us just as a reminder to keep ourselves in check. And of course, if you subscribe to the information that I was speaking about earlier with how the moon works with our bodies, since it's so heavily water, you know what I mean, over half our bodies is with water, then you can kind of understand how that will work in your benefit to really utilize the actual moon cycles and the moon phases to do manifestation and releasing, and manifesting and releasing, or welcoming and releasing, however you want to say it. But I would like to say manifesting and releasing don't work without you doing work. So if you're going to be manifesting, make sure that you're putting in work to bring in what you are manifesting in. You know what I mean? For instance, if you're like, I really want to manifest better study habits, but you're not studying, you know, it's probably not working. That's why it's not working. You have to manifest and ask for that clear guidance to bring things in. And sometimes that's going to look like a schedule adjustment or like time adjustments. If you are a person who, for instance, if you want to be more of a like giver, it's a great thing to manifest. So you realize, like, I have a tendency to not give of myself as much in situations where I feel like I should. If you just never make time to like give to people, then the manifestation's not going to work because you never changed anything. So you do have to be prepared to make some changes. Your manifestations don't have to be like a whole page long. It could be like 2 things, you know what I mean? But just trying those things out. And see where they take you, see where that goes with you. And I utilize the Zodiac Signs when I manifest. So like under the sign of Cancer, that's that like nurturing, home, family, mothering energy. So I think to myself, like, okay, how am I hindering myself in those areas, and what can I do to manifest in those areas? See what I mean? When it comes to like work, I'll ask myself, like under the sign of Capricorn, I think like, okay, related to father issues or working or things like that, where have I been hindering myself? How do I release those things that haven't been working for me, etc. So make sure that you're putting in the work to manifest or release anything that you are trying to get rid of. Again, if you are a person who has a horrible habit, say you cuss all the time and you're like, I really want to quit cussing. Okay, there's different things that you can do. There's creative pursuits. Maybe you're guided to go check out online, like what can I do in order to help me quit cussing? Would a curse jar work, or would some sort of like system at home? I don't even know. It's not something I'm manifesting, but or releasing by any means. So, but I'm just saying, like, if you're trying to get rid of something, you can't just be like, okay, it's gone. It doesn't work like that. You will have to put in the work. You will have to make some adjustments in your life, but that's the whole point of doing these rituals, is because you're going to be intently doing that, okay? Very intentional. I spend time preparing for each one of my cycles by taking my time to write down. Well, I've typed out spreadsheet of things that I release and get rid of, and why I'm getting rid of them, and like really study why I do certain things and try to understand if it's really going to help me or hurt me. And I'm not always right. A lot of times I have to go back and like reevaluate like the level at which I said I wanted to let something go, because I'll realize like, okay, maybe being totally that way ain't gonna work. I gotta have like that happy medium spot, you know? Other things, it's like, I totally want to let this go and I don't feel bad about it. You have to know like where is key to let things go and when to keep things in your life. And I just think that sometimes with these rituals, it really does help. So if you guys are curious or you want guidance, reach out to me in my messages. I would totally love it. If you do your own moon rituals, leave down below. Let me know what you do. I'm so curious. I love hearing new information, building upon my practices. I have books and all kinds of stuff that I do in order to help me hone in my practices. So you guys keep me posted, and I really hope that you enjoyed this episode. It's just something quick that I wanted to address and talk about. But I do have a really fun series for the next video, and I cannot wait for you guys to see it. It's going to be like a astrological get ready with me. I do makeup sometimes here and there, my own makeup. You know, hey, how you doing with the little boom? That glimmer though, it's clean. If you guys can't see my face, go check out the YouTube video because you can see my face and you can see all the shine that I've got. But Leo season is coming up. Shout out to the Leos. I'm gonna do a get ready with me in my next video about the Leos. And so you guys will get to see me do my makeup and talk about actual Leo traits and qualities in astrology. So I'm really excited to bring that to you guys once a month on all my platforms. If you cannot watch the video to watch me get ready, or you don't care to watch the YouTube video, just stick around and listen to the portion about Leo energy, because that's what we're gonna be talking about, okay? So I will chat with all of your lovely faces later. And again, follow the YouTube, follow the Twitter, at Von Kiah M on Twitter. Instagram is at Von Kiah. YouTube, Eyes Wide Open Pod. Pretty much everything. Eyes Wide Open Pod on Instagram too. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit everything. Just go crazy with it, okay? Leave me comments, leave me shares, do all of that, because we're trying to build, we're trying to grow. We want to get all this fun knowledge out to everybody so that more people can engage and interact with this community, okay guys? I will see you guys next week for another lovely episode, number 16, which is my favorite number. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.